Okay, this is part 2 of the review for chapter 6. We on the previous video we found common denominator and equivalent fractions. I'm going to be going over that again for the last part where we have to find the sum or difference. But now our next question is to work on writing the number as a product of its prime factors. So we're working on number 9, 10, and 11. So I'm going to I know I did number 9 as an example in class, so I'm going to go ahead and work number 10, which is number 18, and we're trying to find the prime factors. So for this, you want to write out the number first, the number that we're breaking down. And our first step is to break down the 18. Now remember the rule of divisibility. When you have a number, an even number, then you can break this number down by 2 every time you have an even number. So 18, I know that I can multiply 2 times 9 to make 18. Basically, you are finding 2 numbers that will multiply to make that product, but you cannot use number 1 and the number itself. Because if your 2 multiples is 1 and itself, then that is a prime number if there's no other multiples. But 18 does have another multiple, and it's 2 and 9. 2 is a prime number, right? Because the only way that you can get 2 as a product is by multiplying 1 and 2. So that means that 2 is a prime number. So we're going to circle it because that's going to be one of my prime factors. Now I'm going to look at the second number. Can I multiply 2 numbers and get 9? Other than 1 times 9? Yeah, right? You can multiply 3 times 3. So make sure that you make that the 2 lines down to show me 3 and 3. Can you break the 3 down now? No, right? That's a prime number because the only way that you could get 3 as a product is by multiplying 1 times 3. So go ahead and circle that number. And I already broke the last number down. So my prime factors would be 2, 3, and 3. So that would be my answer. Okay, now let's work on number 11 because I know that maybe it's a hard concept for some of you. And this will help you understand it better. So we have 30. 30, and I'm going to branch it out. This is an even number, so I know I can multiply it or divide it by 2. But is there another way that I can break it down other than by 2? Think about it. Can you divide this number by a number and get a whole number? Yeah, we can do 3 times 10, right? 3 times 10 equals 30. So I just broke down my number by 3 times 10. So 3 is a prime number. So I'm going to circle it. Always circle it as soon as you get a prime number. That way you don't miss any of your numbers. Now, can we break the 10? Yeah, it's an even number. So the only even number that you can break down is the 2. Other than that, if you have an even number, you can break it down. You can factor it out. So 10, what 2 numbers will equal 10? Other than 1 times 10? 2 and 5, right? 2 and 5. And I know that 2 is a prime number. What about 5? Is 5 a prime number? Yes, it's a prime number. So my prime factors are 3, 2, and 5. Or it will be better if you put them in order. 2, 3, and 5. So I'm going to just process that, and these are my prime factors. Okay, that's how we do 9, 10, and 11. You will have questions like that on the test. Okay, last section. Find the sum or difference. Write your answer in simplest form. So we're going to go ahead and solve these. And the first step, I'm going to go ahead and I'll do 2. I'll do 13 and 14 because one addition, one subtraction. I know some of you feel like you can't do the subtraction, but it's really the same thing. Okay, so we have 2 over 7 plus 2/5. Step number 1. you're looking for the common multiple. And, you know, our common multiples for 7 and 5 because those are our denominators. So I'm going to start off by writing the multiples of 7. 7, 14. So I'm counting by 7. So what goes after 14? We'll add 7. And you should get 21. Or you can say 7 times 3. What's 7 times 4? 28. Add 7, I'm sorry. And you get 36. I'm sorry, not 36, 35. Okay, well, I'm going to stop there and see if I have a common factor now. The other number will be 5, so I'm going to write the multiples: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35. Oh my gosh, I didn't have enough space. But if you can see, 35 is my common denominator. Okay, I found it. If you're having trouble and you say, I can't find it, well, you can also multiply the denominators. 7 times 5 is 35. But I want you to do this first because you want to get your least common denominator. And when you multiply the denominators, it doesn't give you the least all the time. In this case, it would, but that doesn't happen always. So now I need to write my addition problem vertically, because when I do that, I can clearly show which ones are what are my equivalent fractions. So I'm going to write 2 over 7 plus 2 over 5. Okay? Now, I need to find the equivalent fractions for both fractions because I can't add if my denominators are different. And we found that our common denominator is 35. Now, I say, okay, 5 times what number equals 35? It was by 7, right? So if I multiply the denominator by 7, now I need to multiply the numerator by 7. 7 times 2 equals 14. Now let's do the next one. 7 times what number equals 35? 5, right? So if I multiply the denominator by 5, I need to multiply the numerator by 5. What's 2 times 5 equals 10. Okay, now it says that I need to add. So I only add the numerators, okay, and my denominator will stay the same. I'm going to write it on the side. I don't have any more space, so I'm just going to write it here to the side. And then I add the numerator. So I have 35 as my denominator. Now I just need to add the numerator. 10 plus 14 equals 24, right? 0 plus 4 equals 4. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 24 over 35 would be my answer. Now, always make sure that your answer is in its simplest form. Can you divide the numerator and the denominator by a whole number, by the same whole number, and get a whole number? No, right? It looks like it's already on its simplest form. So you don't do anything to it. But if you did have a number that you can divide both and get a whole number, then you would simplify it. Now, let's do the last one, which is 3/4 minus 3/10. Let's see. Okay. So my first step is to, what is my first step? Write the multiples, right? You need to find the multiples of your denominators. So I want to, let's see, I have one paper. Okay, I'll try to squeeze it in here. Okay, so our numbers are 4 and 10. So that means that I need to find the multiples of 4 and 10. So let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And I'm going to stop right there just because I can already glance that, I see that I'm going to go by tens for the next number, and I know that tens always, when I'm counting by 10, they always end with a 0. So, but I'm going to go ahead and do the multiples for 10 just so that you can see it, even though in my head I already found it. It's 10, 20, 30. Okay, and I'm going to stop there, right there, because I already found my common denominator, and that is 20. So I found my common denominator. Now I need to find the equivalent fractions, because I cannot subtract that if my denominators are different. Okay, so 3/4 minus 3/10. Okay, so I put the equal sign next to each one, just so that you know that I'm looking for my equivalent fraction. And my common denominator, I said it was 20, so I'm going to write 20 here and 20 here for my denominators. Now I just need to find my numerator, and I do that by thinking, okay, 4 times what number gave me 20? So what's that number? 5, right? 4 times 5 equals 20. So if I multiply my denominator by 5, I need to multiply my numerator by 5. Okay, so what's 3 times 5? 15. 15 over 20. Now I need to do the bottom. 10 times what number will give me 20? Okay, if you said 2, that is correct. Okay, 2. So if I multiply by 2 the denominator, I need to multiply the numerator by 2. So what's 3 times 2? 6, right? 6 over 20. Now I'm ready to subtract because my denominator is already 20. They're all the same denominator, so I'm ready to subtract. And in my answer, my denominator is going to be 20 as well. Now I just need to subtract the numerator, which is 15 minus 6. And that should come out to 9. 9 over 20. Is 9 over 20 in its simplest form? Yes. Make sure that it's in the simplest form, otherwise it will be marked incorrect. So the answer to that was 9 over 20. I hope that helped, and study, watch it again if you need to, and then follow it slowly until you find that area that you needed to study more. All right? I hope you do good on your test tomorrow. Have a good night.